Patriots move up from 46 to 38 to snag Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Evan, was this worth moving up 8 spots?
I do feel like Christian Barmore was worth moving up 8 spots. And the reason being was this is a player that I valued and a lot of people valued as a first-round talent. And I think what ended up happening here with Christian Barmore is that his tape at Alabama is extremely streaky. He has some games where he doesn't really show up. He kind of disappears a little bit. But then in the college football playoff, in those 2 games, he had 12 quarterback pressures in those two games combined and was an absolute game wrecker in the interior of Alabama's defensive line. So what the Patriots get here is a player that I think immediately can fill Adam Butler's old role as a pass rushing specialist on the interior of the D-line. Long term, you hope that he can develop into a 3-down player, maybe somebody that plays as a 3-4 defensive end in their odd front scheme and kicks inside and rushes the passer on passing downs. So I think at the point in the draft that they're at now, 38, if they had taken this player at 15 last night, I would have been livid, to be quite frank. Okay. But taking him here at 38, I think is really good value. And again, with the Patriots, you have to think about where is this player going to fit into the puzzle? Where is he going to fit into the system, especially after all the free agent moves that they made in the offseason? There's not a whole lot of roster spots for guys that are wait and see type of players. Like maybe they can play here, maybe they can play there. We know exactly where Christian Barmore can play right now. And then long term, he has a very, very high upside to develop into something even more than that.
So the Patriots gave up the 46th, the 122nd, and the 139th. If there's any other one in there, throw it in there.
No, that's right.
They gave up those 3 picks. So what does that mean for them going forward with the rest of the draft? Without these picks, how is that going to affect them? Will it affect them?
I don't think it'll affect them much. And the main reason being is that they don't really have the roster spots to take a 10 draft pick rookie class into spring camp, right? They don't really have those roster spots. They came into the draft with 76 players on their roster. A lot of those guys, veteran players, a lot of those guys, they just signed in free agency. None of those guys are getting cut, right? Matt Judon's not getting cut. Kyle Van Noy's not getting cut. So these are guys that are going to be on the roster in 2021 and hopefully beyond. So they didn't have a whole lot of roster spots to just kind of give away to draft picks in the 4th round or give away to draft picks later on in the draft. So consolidating these picks, and then you add into the fact that we're in still a pandemic draft year where there's no NFL combine, there's no in-person top 30 visits. There's a lot of pro day numbers out there are kind of wonky. Some of these are really altered by the schools. It's a information gathering fiasco right now for the NFL. The medicals is a big problem for the NFL. So what has Bill Belichick done? He's called up his buddy Nick Saban and he said, "Hey, what do you think about your guys? You know, which ones of your guys do you think will fit here and fit the culture and fit the scheme?" All of those guys, Mac Jones, Christian Barmore, they got the Nick Saban seal of approval. And if they got the Nick Saban thumbs up, 2 of the smartest football minds in the world think that these 2 guys are worthy of getting drafted by the Patriots. Who are we to disagree at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. No, would you expect him to start week 1?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the role that they have in mind for him. Week 1 is a little bit, I think for any rookie, is a little aggressive. Now, I think Davin Gadshaw is going to be the player that they're going to have on the nose in their base 3-4 defense. That's the guy that they look at as a true nose tackle that can plug up gaps, that can 2-gap, that can take on double teams. Barmore is a pass rush player, and when you turn on the tape with him, you are going to see somebody that flies off the football, that can really penetrate the defensive line, has good upper body strength to kind of get into that hand fighting, and is really, really effective. His go-to move is his arm over or a swim move. So what he'll do is he'll get guys into his body, he'll swim right over them, explode up the field, and there you go. That's a pressure right there on the quarterback. Go turn on the game against Notre Dame. Go turn on the game against Ohio State. This guy lived in the backfield making big plays for the Alabama defense. The problem is that boomer bust, right? He's either getting in the backfield, wrecking the game, or he's getting pushed 10 yards off the ball. You know, those are the 2 things that you kind of saw with him, the streakiness, the boomer bust of his playing style. Those were the concerns that you have with him as a first-round prospect. Here in the 2nd round, this is a great upside, kind of taking that talent. Instead of going for a traditional Lawrence Guy type of scheme fit on the defensive line, the Patriots are betting on the talent that they're going to be able to round this player out into a more every down player. Right now, He fills Adam Butler's old role. He comes in, he plays as an interior pass rusher on passing situations, and the Patriots got a guy that can really get in the backfield. I think that those are all really good things for New England.
All right. Well, I hope that answers everyone's introductory questions about who in the world is Christian Barmore. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.